All right, so we are back again. We are in the session 69, and it's been time that we have been discussing this particular chapter, and we have finished chapter 6, and we are now in chapter 7. So last week, we actually started chapter 7, and this chapter is actually called the absolute truth. So here, the absolute knowledge. So this is very, very important because here in this seventh chapter, there are some more very interesting things that Krishna is already explaining. So Krishna mentioned about how there is uh, jnana and vijnana, and he is going to tell all this truth completely in full. So that is why Bhagavad Gita is very special, because whatever knowledge we get here, it is complete. There is no incomplete knowledge in Bhagavad Gita. Everything is complete. Whatever Krishna speaks is complete, right? Because Krishna is complete, the knowledge coming from him also is complete. So that is why here Krishna has said that this knowledge, what I'm going to speak to you, Arjuna, is going to be complete. Now, then he explained about how there are different types of energies. So he very nicely explained that how there is this five elements: bhumi, apo, nalo, vayu, kim, mano, kham, mano, viddurevacha. So these eight elements, they are my bhinna prakriti. They are my differentiated energies, and we briefly understood about these five elements and everything, right? So let us begin our session with the Pranam Mantras. You can try to chant along with me, and after that, we will start our new verse today. Okay? Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hare Krishna. So let's dedicate this session to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON and my beloved spiritual master. So we were discussing chapter 7 and we have covered 4 verses. Today, let's begin with the 5th verse, and it's also very interesting what Krishna is saying. So in the previous verse, Krishna has explained that how these 5 elements, both the 5 gross elements and the 3 subtle elements, are all my bhinna prakriti. They are all my separated energies. So above this, there is another superior energy which is mentioned here in the 5th verse. So Krishna is saying, I'll read the shlokas by myself today. Verse number 5, Krishna says that maybe after reading the shloka, Uma Kumar, you can actually read the translation if you have the Bhagavad Gita. Do you have the Bhagavad Gita with you?
Yes, Prabhuji, with me. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. I will read the shloka and I'll chant the shloka. You can read the translation.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Apareyam mitastvanyam prakartim vidhi me param जीवभूतं महाभावो ययेदं धार्यते जगत्. Yes, Uma Kumar, you can read the translation.
Besides this, O mighty arm Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material, inferior nature. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So very interesting here, Krishna is saying that, okay, that these 8 elements are Jada Prakriti. But above that, Apareyam Itaspanyam, there is another one, Prakartim Vidyame Param. It is little superior to this Jada Prakriti. So there is Jiva Bhutam Mahabhavo, there is Jiva Bhuta, there is this living entity. And these living entities are very powerful than the material elements that I just spoke. These are also my energies, both Jada Prakriti and Chetana Prakriti. Jiva Bhuta means what? Chetana Prakriti. So there is this living entities and then there is the matter. Both of them are actually emanating from me. I am the controller of both. So this Jada Prakriti is actually controlled or exploited by the living entities. Jiva Bhuta, this superior energy. See, matter on its own cannot actually do anything. Matter, all these 8 elements put together, they cannot really do anything unless there is the interference of the Jiva Bhuta, unless there is the interference of the superior energy. And that superior energy is the living entity. And that is why you see all these different developments that we do in the world using the matter. It's all because of the interference of the living entities, big skyscrapers and big ships, big containers and vehicles and mobile phones and technology, and all this is actually matter. But this matter gets developed only when the superior living entity interferes. This is important. Only when the living entity interferes, that is when the matter takes shapes. So who gives the shape to the matter is actually the Chetana Prakriti. But there is a superior energy which is controlling both of them, and that is the Lord. Both this Jada Prakriti and Chetana Prakriti is actually controlled by the Supreme Lord. It is Him who maintains everything, both Jada Prakriti and Chetana Prakriti. On our own, can we maintain ourselves also? See, actually, because there is Lord, and Lord provides us this body like this, that is how we are able to manipulate, or we are able to actually see this wonderful Chetana Prakriti acting so beautifully, right? So that is why this whole body given to us is again given by the Supreme Lord. So He maintains both of us. That is why when we say that God is great, many people say that, oh, God is great. Yes, God is definitely great. But before we even understand that God is great, we should know and understand that His created energy is also very great. And that is the process of understanding God. Many people say that God is great, but God is great because He has created many wonderful, great things, like these five elements, the three subtle elements, and then the Chetana Prakriti also. Both Jada Prakriti and Chetana Prakriti is actually maintained by the Supreme Lord. He is great because He has created great things. So, just like when somebody wants to, uh, understand music. So, although music itself is so complicated and there are so many higher levels of music, uh, but then the music lessons taught to a neophyte is very, very basic. He has to actually practice all the things, basic levels, fingering and whatever the basic notes, sarigama, padanisa. Only when he understands these basics, he'll be able to appreciate the better things going forward. So all the basic fundamentals are clear, then you can actually do a lot of new things, a lot of creativity is given to you because you have the foundation properly established. So similarly, you take mathematics, because we have proper understanding about basic calculations like addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. That is why we are able to do later on calculus, integration and differentiation, all these higher mathematics we are able to easily do. It's because we have the foundation very clear. So similarly, Krishna is saying that, okay, you want to understand me and my greatness, it's good, but it is important that you also know the greatness of my creation. So that is why these are not ordinary things. These elements that we discuss, they are extremely powerful. These elements are also have very, very specific roles, right? So that is why Krishna is giving us this science. You want to understand me, but understand me through these things. Because these are the things that you are able to perceive every day. These are the things that you are coming in contact every day. So use them to remember me. These are the things that you should know and you should be aware of. You see? So that is why Krishna is saying that understand me through this process. So this process is important. So we have some more guests today joining us. We have all the devotees. We have Dev, we have Hina Mataji, we have Achutanji. Welcome all of you. Today I'm just quickly doing it through my mobile. So uh, that's why I'm having some trouble displaying the screen. But that's fine. Okay. So when I tell that these elements have very, very special qualities, what does it mean? Like previously also I had mentioned that how Earth has a certain specific qualities of attraction, the gravity, the gurutva means gravity, gravitational pulls. Anything you throw, it has that traction, it pulls it back. Earth also has this ability to make water flow. It will not resist the flow of water because Earth is generated from water. So Earth knows that, oh, this water is my creator, so I should not obstruct him. So he will let the water flow. So that's another ability of water, of Earth. Then the Gandha. Gandha means the fragrance. The fragrance is the quality of the Earth element. Other elements do not have the fragrance, aroma, but it is Earth through which we all get the different types of aromas, right? So Earth is the basic thing. So Earth has different qualities. Similarly, Apaha. Apaha means water. Apaha, one other meaning of Apaha means water actually, apalana means it maintains us. Water actually maintains us, right? Water has the ability to maintain a lot of things. So apalana means water, which also is one of the quality to maintain. So it protects life, it maintains life. So water is important, right? That is why even when scientists they want to search for life in other planets, the first thing they want to understand is, does that planet have water? Because water is the basic necessity, right? Then we know that how this progression goes, that there is earth, then water, then fire, air, ether. Ether is the most subtlest element of all these five elements, which has the substance or the characteristics of sound. But then above this ether, then there is the mind. The mind is extremely powerful. So what is the mind? Many people, many psychologists, till date, they don't understand what is the mind. They can only understand the effects of the mind, but they don't know what is the mind, right? So what is this mind? The mind, in one sense, another definition of mind can also be given as it is remembrance. It can be synonymously called as of having a function of remembrance. Now, remembrance means memory. Now, smriti is actually a very important function of the mind. Just imagine smriti is not the function of the eyes or any of the five senses that we have. Because even a blind man, he can remember. So, remembrance, smriti, is independent of your vision. So, similarly, a deaf person, although he does not hear anything, but he has remembrance. Why? Because remembrance is not a function of the ear. Remembrance is not the function which is dependent on these five senses. It is beyond these five senses. That is remembrance. So one of the very important function of the mind is remembrance, memory. So it is completely independent. Smriti is very, very powerful. So this remembrance is what? Remembrance means, smriti means, it has all our past vasanas and our samskaras. All the vasanas and samskaras formed previously is what gives us this remembrance, this memory. Anytime we have a thought, actually our thought is somewhere connected to these vasanas and samskaras that are deep within, rooted in the mind. So mind means remembrance, right? And intelligence, we have discussed that how intelligence, buddhi, means to discriminate what is right and wrong. So the discrimination comes from the intelligence, buddhi tattva, buddhi. Buddhi actually helps us. Without buddhi, we cannot discriminate because mind will produce so many thoughts. All this, it will keep remembering so many things, all the vasanas and so many samskaras which are there installed in it. It will keep remembering, it will keep surfacing it out. But what discriminates what is right and wrong? That is the buddhi. And we all have buddhi. Are we using our buddhi to discriminate? That is a big question mark. We are using it because now we are reading Bhagavad Gita and understanding Bhagavad Gita. So buddhi we are able to use properly to some extent. But just imagine if we use buddhi properly, our buddhi element so properly, then our life will become very smooth. Because we will be doing only right things. And when we do right things, all the good auspicious things will come to us. Only when we do all the nonsensical things, then the problems will come. Why? Because we have not used our buddhi properly. So if you use buddhi properly, your life will be very, very happy. And then above that, above the buddhi, then there is the ahankara. So what is this? Now, see, ether was there, ether comes from the mind comes from the intelligence, and the intelligence comes from the ahankara. Ahankara means the identity. Yes, I belong, I have this identity, that identity. It gives us identity. So this ahankara is actually emanating from the Mahat Tattva. Mahat Tattva I had explained to you earlier that how this is the sum total of all the material energy. Right? The Mahat Tattva is the sum total of all the material energy. And this Mahat Tattva is again created by the Chit Prakriti. Chit Prakriti is actually represented by the Lakshmi Devi, the female uh, uh, form or the female expansion of the Lord, which is the Chit Prakriti, which creates this Mahat Tattva, right? So this Mahat Tattva is actually giving rise to Ahankara. Now, this ahankara, this ego, this false ego, can be of three types. There are three different types of ahankaras. Those are Vyakarika ahankara, which gives or creates the devatas. All the devatas are created by this Vyakarika ahankara. The second is actually the Tejas ahankara. The five senses that we have, these are created by this Tejas ahankara. That's why our senses, you see, they are all Tejas. Why it is Tejas? Why? Because these five senses that we have, they are actually gaining knowledge, acquiring knowledge, helping us to acquire knowledge. All these five senses, right? So that is why they are Tejas, that they are created by the Tejomaya Ahankara, Tejas Ahankara. And then there is Tamas Ahankara. This Tamas Ahankara is actually the Jada Prakriti. What Krishna explained in the previous verse, this five Bhutas. The five Bhutas are this earth, water, fire, air, ether. These are all created by the Tamasa Ahankara. So there is this Vyakarika Ahankara, there is Tejas Ahankara, and there is Tamasa Ahankara. Three types of Ahankaras are there. So these Devatas, when they are created through this Vyakarika Ahankara means, it is mentioned in the scriptures also, that these Devatas who are created with this type of Vyakarika Ahankara, they have some Vishishta qualities, very special qualities. Vishishta means they have a very specific, special role to play. Very special role they have. What is that Vishishta? For example, your eyelid movements, you close your eyelids. It is taken care by one of the Devatas. You yawn. That yawning is actually controlled by one Devata. There is a Devata for hearing, there is a Devata for taste, there is a Devata for speaking, there is a Devata for walking. If you have to walk, a Devata has to enable you to do all that. So these Devatas are all having their Vishishta role, and they are not interchangeable. Sometimes in the government office, you have so many tasks and so many things to do, and they'll say, okay, can you please do this? Can you please do that? And they will manage, and, they will get the work done. But here it's not like that. You cannot tell the Devata of the eyelid movement, no, I'm going for a vacation today. Can you take care of my ears? The ear Devata cannot tell that, please take care of my ears today, I'm going for a vacation. Similarly, the Devata controlling the legs, he cannot say to the eyes, see, you please take care of everything. I'm not going to walk today because I'm tired. Nothing like that. These Devatas cannot interchange their roles. They are all having their Vishishta role. That's why when this body is created, these Devatas are also a part of this body. They're all taking different positions. So, although the Lord is there within our heart as Paramatma, this Paramatma directs all these Devatas within our body, and then the functions are taking place. When we wake up in the morning, how does that happen? So magically it happens. Every morning when we wake up, this morning when you woke up, the Paramatma, actually, he is the one who actually, brings you back from the unconscious state to the conscious state. Right? From Shishupti, he brings you to the Jagrata Avastha. Why? It happens because the Paramatma. But the Paramatma, he does this through the Vayu Devata. So the Vayu Devata actually then brings you back to this Jagrata Avastha. See, so many transactions are happening within our body. Using this Jada Prakriti, then we have our Chetana Prakriti, which is manipulating things. And then also there is this wonderful superior energy that is the Lord Paramatma. Right? So many beautiful things are happening here. So let us see what Krishna is going to say more. Okay, let us see. So Smriti is the quality of the mind. It's very, very powerful. Remembrance and Ahankara, we have discussed that these are the three types of Ahankara. And these three Ahankaras actually are dominated by three Devatas again. That is Garuda, Shesha and Rudra. So, and the Mahatattva is actually controlled by our Chaturmukhi Brahma. So Mahatattva is under his control. So that is why, if you carefully see that there is these five elements within the body and without. So both internal and external, we see these five elements, right? And whenever there is a little change in the proportion of these five elements, then there is a disturbance within the body. So whenever there is a slight change that we do with this imbalance we create within the five elements, then that is how the person gets diseased. The change in Kapha, Pitta, Vata, it's nothing but the change in these five elements. And then what happens is, the same thing is reflected outside also in the external world. You see, whenever there is an imbalance in this five elements externally, then there will be earthquakes and there will be tsunamis and all these different climatic changes that we are seeing today. It's all because of the change, this disproportionate imbalance that we see in the nature that creates all these havocs, right? So both internally and externally, these have to be maintained properly. And of course, the Lord is one who maintains all these things throughout. So this we need to understand. Very, very important. So just imagine now what Krishna is saying here is in this fifth verse that this energy is actually superior energy. That is you, O living entity, Jiva Bhuta, are superior to Jada Prakriti. So Krishna has now explained that there is this Bhinna Prakriti, there is this the separated energy, and there is another superior energy that is the Jiva Bhuta, living entity. And both are under my control. I maintain both of them. He is much superior, much, much superior. So this is what he has explained. And uh, let's see if Dev has. Dev, you can unmute yourself. And if you have the Bhagavad Gita, you can chant the sixth verse.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Etad bhutani
Etad yonini bhutani
sarvanityupadharaya
sarva nitya upadharaya
aham krishnasya jagatah
aham krishnasya jagatah
prabhavah pralayastata.
prabhavaha pralayasthatha.
Once again. Etad bhutani
Etad yonini bhutani
sarvanityupadharaya
sarva nitya upadharaya
aham krishnasya jagatah
aham krishnasya jagatah
prabhavah pralayastata.
prabhavaha pralayasthatha.
Wonderful. Please read the translation.
Yes. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both its origin and dissolution. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Krishna is saying here, oh Arjuna, please understand that anything that is inferior or superior, I am the controller. I am the creator and destroyer of both. So Prabhava Pralayastata. So Krishna is the cause of creation and destruction. That's why in the Brahma Samhita also it is stated that Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. Sarva Karana. For every cause, there is the supreme cause, that is Krishna. The cause for creation is Krishna. The cause for destruction is also Krishna. So Prabhavaha means that there has to be a creation. Creation means already there is a substance available. So what happens is Prabhavaha, what Krishna actually refers here is that which is unmanifest, which is avyakta, he makes it manifest, vyaktaha. So just like the Mahatattva is all the sum total of matter, which is unmanifest. It is avyakta. Avyakta means it's all just a matter, a lump of matter, nothing else. But what is creation? What Krishna does now? He's actually making it is vyaktaha. From avyakta, he makes it vyaktaha. So that is why Krishna is saying here, Prabhavaha. That is done by me. What does this mean? This means that creation means already the raw material, everything is there, created by the Lord. So when creation happens, has to happen, Krishna will just make that unmanifest matter into manifest. That's why we are all seeing these different forms and everything. It is because that is Prabhavaha. Krishna enables that matter to take shape. And why does that happen? Because once the matter takes shape, then the living entities, they are facilitated. Okay, you had this desire, now you go and enjoy. Different ways you go and enjoy. So Krishna is facilitating all these things. Prabhavaha, he creates this whole thing for, okay, now you create and it is created, now you enjoy, you fulfill your desire. And then, just like creation, now there is a difference in the creation of matter and the living entities. We should understand the way the matter is created and the way the living entities are created, or rather, I should say, the way the matter becomes manifest and the living entities manifest is different, right? It's like the way we take birth or we become manifest in this material world is very different, because we come out of our mother's womb, or there are andaja. Andaja means those animal living entities which come from the andaja. Then swedaja, there are living entities which come out of the sweat, right? So we had explained this, that how there are different types of birth. There are four types of births. So one is garbha, one coming from the womb, and that is how we all have come. And there is andaja, those who take birth from the anda. Then shvedaja, from the sweat. And another one, if somebody, it beats my memory right now, if anybody remembers, you can mention that in the comment. I had explained that before. So there are different types of birth, and all these manifestations are actually prabhavaha is done by me, and this is different. The way matter is created, manifested is different, and the way the living entities manifest is different. So see, there are varieties everywhere. Now the question comes is, how is that Krishna is the creator and then he destroys also, right? Many times this question may come, because if suppose there is a person who has started a company and he built the company so nicely, and then if you tell that person to destroy his own company, nobody will do that, because they are so attached. Oh my God, how can I destroy my own company which I built with so much of sweat and hard work, burning my blood? I did this and now I have to destroy? No, it is extremely difficult. We cannot destroy the things that we have created. It's very, very difficult, because we have attached to those things. We are having attachment to these things, all the things that we have created. Why we are attached to our children? Because we feel that we are the creators, right? But Krishna has no attachment. He has no prayojana, no profit out of all this creation and destruction. That is why he is unattached. So destruction, it really doesn't matter to him. So Prabhupada gives this very beautiful example, that how when the children, they are on the seashore, on the beach, they build these sand castles. They dig up the sand and then they build nice sand castles with so many things. They put a lot of effort and they create these sand castles. And when the mother calls, okay, now come, it's time for food, the children, they will jump on it, they will stamp it, and then that's it. They will break the whole castle and they'll happily, they'll laugh and they'll run and they'll have their food. Again, next day, again, they'll come, they will create, again, they'll destroy, and they are happily doing it. So for Krishna, it is like this. So this creation and destruction for Krishna is like how the children make the sand castles and they break it. It's like that. He is laughing all the time. He is enjoying both creation and destruction. He is not actually attached to these things. So, and he becomes happy when there is a creation. When these things get manifested, he's happy also. Just like a father, when, just the idea or just that thought, when he gets to know that reality, that the news that, yes, my wife is now pregnant and now soon I'm going to become a father, that itself gives him so much of joy, for both the parents. So when they are becoming the parents, it gives them so much of joy, lot of joy, because they are going to create a new life. Now imagine the joy of Krishna, because if a parent giving birth to one child can get so much of happiness, now imagine Krishna, who is the creator and who gives birth to innumerable living entities, how much joy he must be getting, isn't it? Oh yes, all these living entities are now going to come and they are going to execute things. Isn't it the parents, when they see that their children are advancing and they are doing much better than what they expected, it gives them so much of joy. So similarly, Krishna, when actually he manifests all these living entities here, and then they are actually progressing in the path of spirituality, then it gives him so much of joy, much, much joy. So that happiness is there. The cause of creation gives us a lot of joy. That is there. But the cause of destruction, somehow that is not very clear to us, because we are attached. But then for Krishna, it is not. He doesn't feel disheartened while destructing. Because for him, there is another example. Again, we have to take these examples in the context that we are talking, not out of the context. Now, just for example, a king, he becomes very happy when the enemy is destroyed. So when enemy is destroyed, the king becomes happy, he's joyful. So similarly, for the Lord, when actually this whole creation is destroyed, the pralaya happens, then it gives him joy because, okay, all these unfaithful, these devotees, non-devotees who were not coming on the path of spirituality, now they are destroyed. I'll give them another chance later. So that is how he takes it. Okay, now they're all asuras. Krishna is happy with the suras. Asuras is not so happy. Okay, so asuras are all gone. So he becomes happy that all these asuras are getting uh, rid of all this. He's getting rid of all these asuras. Again, a fresh creation will happen. Another chance is given to all of them. So this is how Krishna enjoys both Prabhavaha, Pralayas So both the creation and destruction, it is really joyful for Krishna. He is unattached. Very, very nice. So, okay, let's cover another verse, verse number 7. So let's see. We have Hina Mataji. So, Hina Mataji, you can unmute yourself. And if you have the Bhagavad Gita, then you can chant. Yes.
Yes,
So, Matta Parataram Nanya
Matta parataram nanyat
किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय
kinchid asti dhananjaya
मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतम्
mai sarvam idam protam
सूत्रे मणिगण इव.
sutre manigana iva.
Once again, matta parataram nanya
Matta parataram nanyat
किञ्चित् अस्ति धनञ्जय
kinchid asti dhananjaya
मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतम्
mai sarvam idam protam
सूत्रे मणिगण इव.
sutre manigana iva.
Yes, please read the translation.
O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. See, such a very important verse, such a nice verse. Krishna is saying that everything is resting upon me. You don't exploit, unnecessarily don't try to dominate this matter because you will fail. If we try to dominate anything here, you will fail because ultimately I am the controller because I am controlling you also. You may to some degree, I have given that choice and I've given that power to you to exploit matter to some degree. But if you try to exploit it beyond your capacity, then you will be in problem. We have to recognize that there is something which is beyond our control, right? So this is instruction. This is a very clear instruction for all the Mayavadis also, because when we say that there is someone who needs to control, then it's a person. It cannot be an impersonal thing. God is not impersonal. Moment Krishna says that everything is resting upon me, that means there is a person who is actually maintaining all these things. So we should understand that everything that we see in the matter, the connecting factor is Krishna. You know, when deep within, when people study science, when they go deeper into science, they actually understand that there is God. Only the superficial scientists, they are the one who reject God. But scientists who are really thoughtful, when they understand, they go deeper and deeper, they understand that, oh my God, this is something done by some superior personality. Without intelligence, this cannot happen. They understand this fact. So whenever they think that, okay, atom is the smallest thing, there is nothing smaller than that, then they find the electron. Then they find another smallest thing called a quarks. They're called quarks. So the deeper and deeper you go, the smallest of the smallest is Krishna. He is maintaining everything within the atom. And that's not it. Actually, he is maintaining the big universes also. Now, massive universes, just this planet itself is floating. Aram say 365 days, everything is rotating, rotation, everything is so perfect. Who is maintaining all these things? Just imagine the kind of control Krishna has. One satellite to control, we do so much of hangama. It is so difficult to control. One Chandrayaan, two Chandrayaan, we try to send and they fail so miserably. But here Krishna is maintaining planets. What power he has! It should really bewilder us, actually. So that is why when these people, when scientists also, either astrophysicists or scientists who are learning quantum physics, these people, when they go deeper and deeper, they understand that there is a superior intelligence who is actually controlling all these things. They have to come to this point. That's why Sutre Manigana Iva. When we see things across in our environment, we may see them as differentiated things. Okay, there is now winter. Now after winter, there is summer. Then there is spring. These seasons are changing. But all these seasons, the Sutre Manigana Iva, the tying factor of all these seasons is Krishna. There is the forest, there is this ocean, there is this so many different resources. The Sutre Manigana Iva is Krishna. We are taking birth in a certain family with certain type of karma, and all these different family members are coming together, friends are coming together. All this is happening because ultimately Sutre Manigana Iva. He is the one who is connecting all of us. Right? So even when in this preaching movement also, when we started this session, Sutre Manigana Iva, he knows, Krishna knows how to connect people from where. Otherwise, I'm here in Bangalore, somebody here now Kaushik is from California, the whole Chandan family is from Mumbai, Achutanji is from Mumbai, Shuma Kumar is in Bangalore. So all these different things you just see. Sutre Manigana Iva, different people get connected because the Lord is a connecting factor. So Krishna is very beautifully explaining, just like all the pearls in a necklace are strung together through that small thread. Everything looks so beautiful. When you wear that necklace, it looks so beautiful. And when it is beautiful, it's looking beautiful. You don't see the thread. But what is holding the thread? Remove that thread and all these pearls will scatter hither and thither. Same thing. This whole creation, both Jada Prakriti and the Chaitanya Prakriti, is actually maintained by this thread. And that thread, Krishna is saying, I am that thread. If I get out of this, that's all. Everything will collapse. Everything will collapse. They'll all get dismantled. That is Pralayaha. Just see how powerful it is. Extremely powerful. So, Krishna is giving different ideas to Arjuna. And he's saying that whatever now I have spoken is jnana. But Krishna is saying that is not it, because I want to discuss something more. I just don't want to talk about jnana. I also want to talk about big jnana. That's why it started this chapter also saying that jnana vijnana sahitam. It is both jnana and vijnana. Only then you will be able to understand what is absolute knowledge, what is absolute truth. So until now, till this verse number 7, Krishna has briefly spoken about jnana. But now, when he goes forward from the 8th verse, he will start talking about vijnana, a little more higher advanced knowledge. So that will be discussed from the 8th verse onwards, and many, many beautiful things will come in this chapter 7. So this is how we should understand that Krishna is the connecting factor of everything. Everything. Even this whole Kurukshetra also. So beautifully, just see all the asuras, all the suras, all the good people and the bad people, everybody came on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Everybody assembled across. Everybody assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. How was that possible? That was possible because Sutre Maniganaiva, Krishna was the mastermind. He bought all these good and bad people in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, on the battlefield. So powerful, right? So that is why whenever we do things or whenever we see things, we should actually understand that Krishna is behind this. When Krishna said about earth, water, fire, air, ether, earth should be actually, when you see earth material, you should see, oh my God, earth has these many different qualities. It gives fragrance. Then it maintains the water. It allows the water to flow properly. It has the gravitational pull. All this is the power of the earth. But who has created earth? Oh, Krishna has created earth. So what is happening? When you see earth element, you are remembering Krishna. When you see water, beautiful waterfalls is there. Waterfalls is so beautiful, you should immediately, seeing that water and the qualities of water, you should be remembering Krishna. Oh, Krishna is the maintainer. He has created all this. So you will appreciate, when you know the qualities of all these different elements, you will have more appreciation for Krishna. So whenever you go and across, you see all these different things in the environment, these five elements, the function of the mind, the function of the intelligence, the function of the ahankara, you should appreciate Krishna. Yes, Krishna is the superior. He is the maintainer of all these. He is the origin of all these things. Right? We should be very thankful. Just see, if somebody goes to a Montessori, when somebody, a small child has to get an admission in a Montessori, the school or the Montessori, they actually, for a small child, they will ask the details of the parents. Who are your parents? The parents have to fill up. Okay, father, mother, all the details are taken of the parents because they are the origin of the child. And you imagine now a small Montessori, if they require the information of the origin, now imagine so many lifetimes we have taken birth, we have died, and so many lives we have just taking reincarnation without knowing our origin. Who is our origin? Life after life. And there are people who will blame Krishna only. Oh, he has created us and he didn't tell us that he is the creator. What should we do? How can we know now? They blame Krishna only for that. Are Krishna is giving so much of instruction in so many ways. He takes avatara, he's coming and telling in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, in scriptures. There are gurus who are coming and telling. See, Krishna is giving so many opportunities. Okay, please understand. I am your origin. I am your origin. I am your origin. We are interested in knowing our origin. We are actually very happy to get connected to our origin, but we don't want to accept the process. Right? So, we should now, at least in human form, we should try to understand the origin. At least now, theoretically, we understood that Krishna is our origin. But now we should get connected with him. What is the next step? After knowing that yes, Krishna is our origin, the next step is I want to get connected to my origin. And then there is a process of this Krishna consciousness. Is the process by which we can connect ourselves to our origin. So, this is a great science, a very, very great science. So we have discussed today very beautifully about certain qualities about these elements, right? And we also understood about the qualities of the mind. It is remembrance, and remembrance is because of the vasanas, and it is also because of the samskaras, the previous vasanas and samskaras. And then we also understood the three types of ahankara, which is actually produced from the Mahatattva. There is Vekarika Ahankara, there is Tejas Ahankara, there is Tamas Ahankara, and each one of them is actually creates certain categories of things, and then they are also maintained by a certain Devata. And then in this sixth, we understood that there is creation and Prabhava, creation and the destruction is actually done by the Lord, and he's completely unattached. And in the seventh verse, Krishna is saying that I am the Sutre Managaniva. Sutra, you are a Sutradhar. Many times there are some Sutradhars to execute, even for Prime Minister Modi, there will be some Sutradhar. They understand PM Modi so nicely that they conduct things, they organize things, everything even before he says, because that is how they act like a Sutra. They understand everything about him. Actually, this reminds me of one of our devotees when we were in Bangalore. My guide, the spiritual guide, and my god brother, His Grace Amitasan Prabhu, who is in Mumbai now, who is now president of the HKM Mumbai. So we were together, and when we used to do this preaching activities, he used to say that, "Oh, you are the Sutradhar." Sometimes he used to say, "You are the Sutradhar," because I used to meet a lot of people, and we used to bring them for the programs, and we used to connect all these people. And it takes a lot of organizational skills sometimes to bring people together and give that wonderful experience of Krishna consciousness to these people. So he used to tell me, "You are the Sutradhar." So, we are all minute Sutradhars to some extent in our own capacity. So Krishna is the supreme Sutradhar. So he connects everything so properly and so perfectly. So now Jnana is spoken, Vijnana, we will take it next Sunday. So Vijnana is very, very special. So that we will discuss in the next. So let me see if there are any questions. I think there are some questions. Okay. So, okay. So there are no questions. If there are any questions, you can please feel free to ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mukumar.
As just now you told Prabhuji, intelligence come from false ego, Prabhuji.
Yes.
In corporate field, I observed Prabhuji, whoever is too much intelligence, always they are arrogant and they are they are showing ego in different ways, Prabhuji. But some of the people is having intelligence, but they are so humble. How
Correct.
it is possible, Prabhuji? Same intelligence, somebody is having, means behaving arrogant way, and someone is too humble, is helping to others.
Correct. So what happens is, see, ahankara is there in everyone. This element, ahankara, false ego, is in everyone because we are made up of these 8 elements, right? The earth, water, fire is the mind, intelligence, and false ego. Everybody has ahankara to different levels and extent according to their karma. So now, when somebody is showing off his ego too much, it is only an indication that he's very bodily conscious. People who are too bodily conscious, who are so obsessed with all these material things, the new gadgets, and they want to flash them, the new clothes, they want to flash, uh, everything related to the body. When they are so absorbed in the body, that is when they display this kind of ego. So, too much of when somebody is showing this kind of an ego, it is a clear indication that this person is very bodily conscious. But at the same time, a person who is not showing that much of this false ego, exhibiting this false ego too much, he's to some degree much better because he is little having some detachment, some vairagya is there, and that is why they don't care. They don't really show off their egos and they don't try to dominate. Ahankara is basically what? I am the king. Krishna is not the king. I am the king. So a person who displays less ego, then it is to some extent, yes, he is quite sober because he understands there are certain things which are beyond his control. But people who think that I'm the controller, I'm manipulative, I can do everything, then these are the people who display them. They easily display that. And you see, Ahankara, many times it is also dependent on so many factors. One is the environmental factor because it may not be in the corporate section where they display their ego because they are very careful about their image. I should not be called as an angry person. That's also a false ego. I should not be called as this. I should not be called of that. So artificially they try to, even if the boss scolds, artificially they try to suppress that, at least that he has the strength to suppress that. But what happens is that ego gets an outburst somewhere else. It will go and destroy his family life or somewhere else. So they are very selective about where this ego is displayed. So that's why sometimes people whom you see in the office may be very good, but at home, these people are uh, like Hitlers. They completely control their families in every situation. But at the office, they are like, okay, okay. But some people are vice versa. At home, they'll be like very sober and everything. At office, they'll be totally different. So it's very, very complex to understand these different behavioral patterns of people. Extremely difficult to understand these things. But We can, at a broader way, we can understand that if somebody is displaying this, okay, he's a bodily conscious person, he's a little better, and he's a spiritual conscious, right? So there are different degrees to it. So that is how. That's why I told ahankara is also of three types. Vyakarika ahankara, which is like devatas. Devatas also have ahankara, but their ahankara is, oh my lord, I'm your servant. That is how devatas behave. Then there is tejas ahankara. There is tamas ahankara. So people who are tamas ahankara, they are too bodily conscious, because tamasa means what? They are tamas ahankara is creating all these gross elements, earth, water, fire, little better. Tejas ahankara, actually the five senses are created. Five senses means knowledge. So this person who is having this tejas ahankara, he has certain knowledge. You see, so three types of ahankaras are there. So that is why they're influenced by a certain type of ahankara, and they act accordingly. That is how it is.
One
I
more
hope you
question,
get the point.
Prabhuji. How to improve intelligence, Prabhuji? By
How to improve intelligence now? This is why the Bhagavad Gita comes into picture, the scriptures come into picture. Because intelligence means when you hear these sessions, when you are understanding Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavad Gita, see, it is opening up a lot of things. You are giving an opportunity to your intelligence to eat a lot of content, amazing content, spiritual content. See, today itself we discussed about these three types of ahankara. Just contemplate, just think, let this sink into your intelligence. Give yourself a little thought about what you heard today. Okay, Krishna is the Sutre Maniganaiva. He is the connecting factor of everything. Just think about it. He's connecting everything around you, people, things, everything. And then, okay, these elements in each, they have so many specific qualities, wonderful qualities. So many we have understood today. So this has gone into intelligence today. We have understood about ahankara, that is gone. Pralaya, destruction, all these things we have understood with example. So what is happening when you hear such examples, when you hear these different concepts, you are giving a great strength to your intelligence. You are boosting the energy of your intelligence. Then, when intelligence becomes stronger, then you will see things as they are. Oh, when you go and face the world outside now, what is happening? You see all these elements. These elements means what Krishna has told this thing. When you see people acting, oh, these are the different types of ahankaras these people are displaying. You see? So intelligence is giving you an idea how to deal with things. It is giving you an idea how to deal with people appropriately according to their status. So this is why Bhagavad Gita gives you, these sessions will give you a lot of boost. So whenever there is a person talking to you, now you can categorize. You can, so moment you start talking to a person for several times, he's becoming closer to you, then you identify and put them on category, what type of ahankara he is having. You see? So all this is very nice. This knowledge gives you a lot of clarity, how to deal with people, how to deal with things, very, very much.
thank you,
So
Prabhuji.
let's see if there are any questions. Kaushik is asking, Prabhuji, the material energy is easier to understand what it is. In verse 5, the supreme energy is harder to grasp. What is the easiest way to think about that this is something bigger than us? So what Krishna explained in the fifth verse is actually, he's saying that there is this matter, and beyond this matter, there is the superior energy, that is the Chetana Prakriti, the conscious Prakriti, which is we, living entities. So we living entities are superior to this dull matter. So Krishna is explaining about that superior energy, living entities, Jiva Bhuta. He's saying that these Jiva Bhutas are superior to the dull matter. And this superior energy actually exploits or they manipulate this matter. And that is what we are doing. We manipulate the matter and we build so many things using the matter. How is it happening? Because there is Chaitana Prakriti. Jada Prakriti on alone, these five elements are across. For example, if you go to Mars, right, there are no skyscrapers there. On the Mars, there are no skyscrapers because the living entities have still not manipulated the way we have manipulated on Earth. So, where this manipulation is happening? Because of the superior Chetana Shakti, Chetana Prakriti, that is the living entity, Jiva Bhuta. So then, Then above these superior energy, Chetana Prakriti, Jada Prakriti, dull matter, Chetana Prakriti, living entity. Above that is the supreme energy, supreme, that is the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord has his own Prakriti. What is that Prakriti? That is Lakshmi Devi, that is Radharani, that is Vishay Halladini Shakti, right? There are three types of Shaktis, Halladini Shakti, Sanandini Shakti. So these Prakritis are there. So these Prakritis all belong to the Lord. So this is how that Krishna uh, is the supreme of everything. He controls everything. Both we, Jiva, Chetana Shakti, Chetana Prakriti, and Jada Prakriti. So let me read that question. Anything if I have missed. The supreme energy is harder to grasp. Okay. Yeah. If you want to understand the superior energy, we are looking at the people every day. You see, we are interacting with people, and all these new ideas when people come up with. What is this new idea all about? Anytime when people come and they discuss a new idea, what is this new idea? The new idea is all about how can I actually use this matter for my benefit. For example, digital technology today, or for example, Facebook or Instagram or anything. What is happening? All these facilities are there, but who is using them? The superior energy living entities. So when we see all these different things happening across us through internet or through buildings or through anything, gross or subtle, uh, all these are manipulated by the Chetana Prakriti. So, so these are the things. So these are part of Jnana. So Vijnana we will discuss in the next session. So until then, all of you keep chanting and keep reading Bhagavad Gita. And if there are any questions, you can always message me anytime. So thank you so much for joining Achutan ji, Kaushik, Hina Mataji, Dev, and Uma Kumar. So please have a wonderful time. And okay, just give me a minute. Let me check. Yes, all right. So please take care, and we will see you again next Sunday. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.